Hage or hey or whatever. That's how they say. Yeah, that's how they say hello in Denmark, apparently. So Hage to you, Matthew Barber.
Hedge to you, Richard Trammell.
And hedge to you, Joseph Druitt.
Hedge to you.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm sure it's not hedge. I'm sure they're not going around saying hedge to each other.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. No.
You never know. Do you guys know how to speak Danish?
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. But we are visiting Faxe Brewery this week. Some of you may be familiar with Faxe. They are the premium lager in the massive 1,000 milliliter can. Like the size of my head is this
Enormous.
can. I possibly won't finish the whole thing on a Monday evening before work. So
I've just noticed, well, we'll come on to this later, but your can is different to mine.
we will break it all down later, mate. Do not worry. But
okay.
am I handing over to Mr. Joseph Druitt for the hot topic?
I think so.
You are indeed. You are indeed. Gentlemen, what is the big football event happening in 2024?
My birthday party.
You're having a football birthday party. That's
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
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 Actually,
I haven't got-
quite jealous.
I haven't got quite
Yeah.
enough mates for 5-a-side, unfortunately. So
Yeah. Is it at the community
It's you in
centre?
a brick wall.
Yeah. Is it just you in the community centre?
let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
No, it's Euro 2024, Joe.
Yay! It is Euro 2024. And where is Euro 2024 being held?
Is it in Deutschland?
It is in the Deutschland. Oh, was ist mein Handy? Yes, it's Germany. And what is Germany well known for?
Beer.
Oh, many things.
Well, many things, but the one we're most particularly interested in here, beer. We've
Bratwurst.
nailed it. Bratwurst and beer. So,
And the Sauerkraut podcast we record at 9 tonight, don't we?
so there has been official advice given by the Foreign Office ahead of the men's football tournament in June and July that states to British travellers going from England, Scotland, Wales, just to state that beer can be stronger than in the UK, so drink responsibly, know your limits, and respect local laws, because you may not be let into the stadium if you drink too much.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Are they going to have British bouncers on the entrance to all of the just not letting people in?
I was going to say, I thought I was answering that question seriously. I wouldn't have thought so, Rich. I reckon they'd be
Yeah.
German, to be honest. The England football fans managed to navigate Qatar, didn't they?
They did, but that was zero alcohol.
Yeah, so, yeah, I suppose
No
that was.
alcohol. Whereas
I'm-
here in Germany, they're expected to drink and sample lots of the local beer. And let's face it, there's a lot of delicious local beer in Germany, aren't there?
You guys will. I was going to say you guys will know better than me. Is it still a blanket ban for drinking in the stadiums over there? Because I know you can't drink. You can only drink in certain places in English football clubs. Is that right?
Yeah. The
I
idea,
don't know about that. I know the only thing that's ringing a bell on that one, Travs. Obviously, the last World Cup was in a dry Muslim country, so they didn't have any alcohol that was allowed, apart from in like the VIP sections and booths where you could get alcohol.
Yeah.
The one before that I think had some sort of link with alcohol was the Brazil World Cup, and Brazil by law states that you aren't allowed any alcohol in the stadium.
Oh, okay.
But FIFA got them to change the laws because of because of hosting the World Cup. So that was why it was a big controversial, because basically in Brazil, in football, a lot of people die when people drink a lot because there's a lot of violence that can go hand with football and weapons and alcohol in Brazil. So that was a bad one.
and
But
football
anyway,
is more important than people's lives, Rich. You've got to keep that in perspective.
I'm really sorry. You are correct. This is. I was going to say. I was thinking just talking about drinking and football. I was lying in bed at about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, and I heard the chanting of United, United up in my third floor flat. I live just down the street from a Wetherspoons. Turns out at 9 in the morning, all of the Yeovil United football fans were in town to play Weymouth, and they were stocking up on their cheap alcohol. And conveniently, I have the train station is right at the end of my street. So they're all channeling past at 9 a.m, chanting United and drinking their Foster and Carling.
The funny thing is, when someone shouts United, I don't go to Yeovil.
No, yeah.
And also, because they're not called Yeovil United, they're called Yeovil Town.
Are they?
So, were they not singing something else?
That's what I mean.
Or maybe it was Weymouth. Are they called Weymouth United?
I put my hands up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
9 a.m. seems early though, because what time was kickoff?
Well, it was midday, I think, but it was just the chanting of United just down my street at 9 this morning.
It's just Weymouth Football Club and Yeovil Town, and that match actually ended up being suspended.
Yeah.
It didn't even happen.
No, yeah, there was a medical emergency, and the air ambulance landed in the middle of the pitch. So, It's been an eventful day for me. I had paramedics knocking on my door for someone who doesn't live here this morning, and a Tesco delivery truck crashed into the balcony next to me. So it's been an
eventful day.
All before 12 o'clock.
Weymouth Yeovil was postponed. Is that why?
I just said.
We just said that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was reading something else. To go back several stages, I'm pretty sure in the UK, and I'm not sure about Germany, I would have thought it would be the same, that you could drink in the stadium, but you're not allowed to take your alcohol to your seat.
Okay.
In Germany, I can believe you probably
in the
could,
stands,
because
like
they're not,
behind the stands, isn't it?
Also, sorry to go. You guys decide whether this bit gets into the actual podcast or not. But also, when it was the Euros at Wembley and the England versus Italy fans, alcohol was not a problem as far as I understand. I think cocaine-fueled horrible football fans was the old bit of, is it Charlie or the horse or something like that? I don't know about this thing. Sometimes beer is not the worst thing. Sorry, I'm coming out back for beer.
Also, what I find so funny about this Foreign Office post is like, well, in the UK, lager ale's usually about 4.5%.
Yeah.
Beers in Germany is probably, if it is stronger, it's probably only like a 4.7, 4.8. It's really not that much stronger on average.
Yeah.
Are the Euros being played at a normal time of year this year? So they're in June, July. Yeah, okay. So that's normal. Not like Qatar when it's because I was thinking that some of those fest beers that the Germans do, that the Oktoberfest beers, they sometimes get north of the 5%, don't they? And they can get they probably make you a little bit fighty.
Yeah, I'm just not too sure those are the ones they're going to serve in the stadium, though, are they? The specialty dark stout.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be doing some triple dunkels.
Yeah. And I've got the 9.9 black stout.
I'm almost certain it'll be someone like Heineken that sponsors the 2024. So it'll be like their normal lager and the 0% that'll be the main ones. Although the last thing we'll close this off on, I don't want to be Scotland right now because their first game is against Germany in the opening match of the tournament on the 14th of June in Munich. That will be a very hard game. If you're not a German football player.
What do you mean, because Scotland are rubbish?
Yeah.
Sorry, Scotland fans. My other half is Scottish. Well, she pretends to be anyway.
Don't know if she'll be tuning in to watch that game on the 14th of June.
Oh, no, she's very anti-football anyway. She's more of a rugby girl.
Love it.
That's that done.
We've gone from Germany. We're going to Denmark, aren't we?
To Denmark, yeah.
Hedge.
To drink the delicious too big a can. I'm going to put it out there straight away. Faxe beer.
This is one, I got to say, this is like on such a small aspect of the beer. We are doing something pretty different today. Because we've got a beer that comes in a bloody massive can.
Massive can.
It's a litre. It's an actual litre of beer. I don't think I've drunk a litre of beer since I purchased the Oktoberfest, the Paulina Oktoberfest special. It was like a Kaderstein mug and it was like a litre can. came in it, and it was all novelty. Whereas Faxe, they just come in these massive cans.
Come in these massive cans. Well, yeah. So for our long-term listeners, you remember we did Faxe, or I did Faxe right near the start. It's because I saw it in a shop and I was like, I'm going to buy this because it's funny. But what I wanted to do was I saw it again and we were coming to our beer swap. So I was like, well, this would be really funny if we all drink it together, just because we didn't delve too deep into it, sort of thing. But I thought we'd all give it a go and give it a try. But you pick up your cans, and what's the first, apart from the size, what's the next thing you notice about
the Viking? I know
the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
Cool.
The can is decked out in Vikings all the way along, and you should see. I believe I got us all a different design.
I've got a collector's item.
Yeah, so they're all collectors' items apparently, because they put out different designs each year on the cans, sort of thing. But I'm going to throw it out there. They're not hard to come by.
Oh no,
we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Put it in my ear.
Give me your tones in my ears.
What have you done with
Can you hear me now? There we go. Sorry, bit of a technical difficulty. Apparently, I just went silent and my headphones gave up there. But I waffled on.
I feel like you just pulled Jack's up. Like, what were you saying?
Well, I was just saying, because so they're all different designs on each of our cans, because supposedly they're collector's items. They're not hard to come by. I'm not going to lie, Faxe. There was a lot of them on the shelves. Yeah, there was a lot of them on the shelf. But it's different designs each year. But in all honesty, I'm not a uni student collecting cans on my wall because I think it looks cool anymore.
Has yours got? It looks
I was
like
going to say the appropriate phrase at the end of there was anymore. If it was a good time where you have had a huge, vast collection of cans. I think you made a table out of them. Right?
Yeah, I had a whole table made of cans, and there was a lot of time and effort that went into them. But I don't do that anymore because I'm respectable and I live with a woman.
It would have been really hard to make a table out of cans if you then threw a Faxe in, because it wouldn't be the same size as all the others.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work. I would have a wonky table. So
it's
luckily,
also this 1,000 milliliter can. I don't think you could crush it that easily. I think it would take a hydraulic press to
yeah. You'd need several large men.
Yeah. You're not stepping on it after you've just to fit it into your bin easier.
Yeah.
So,
this is the kind of can which I feel like if I were to stamp on, I'd probably shatter my leg. You know.
So, why are you in A&E tonight? Yeah, you won't believe me.
Yeah. It's a whole fact story.
Yeah, we've got another one, Doctor.
Yeah.
Can I ask, you look like you had Mr. T in the top left of your can design.
Oh, this guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely pities the fool.
He's got,
tell us all about what you've got on your can. What's your design?
So my one is big Viking in the background, some battles going on, some guy looking menacingly off into the distance. Then the other side is, I'm assuming, some sort of Norse god would be my idea. Maybe Thor. He's got the hammer.
Thor with a hammer.
But I was just looking at this guy here though.
He looks like a hammerhead shark.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who that is.
And by the looks of it, an angry goat.
Ooh, maybe
yeah, coming in.
He had something to do with goats, didn't he?
Oh yeah, maybe yeah.
Marry one at something. Didn't he marry a goat?
Or didn't he turn into a goat to con someone into goat naughtiness? Mine's sorry, we'll move on while we're talking about the cans. Mine's got a kind of seafaring design.
Okay.
Seafaring motif. But I really like, to be fair, especially down in the bottom corner, you'll see, well, the main thing is quite a Faxe theme. Look at this Viking drinking beer out of a giant barrel. And beneath that, crows or ravens or similar, thunder, or sorry, lightning, you can't see thunder, and a sword.
Oh,
I feel proper manly.
Like that.
Oh, and a man drinking out of a horn.
Yeah, that's bad.
I've got my one at the top has got some sort of Viking that seems to be getting pleasured in the way that he's throwing his head back. And his mouth's quite wide open. And then you've got a skull at the bottom. So you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then it looks like some guy doing some sort of archery in some lederhosen shorts with a guy being shot at, being like, I'm bloody hard as nails. And he's like,
Not
just going to
bothered about
take the arrow. And there's just people watching at the same time. So, a lot of fun.
I like that, yeah.
Excuse me, sorry, I'm jumping in. I quite like, weirdly though, the actual like central motif. I think I'm just desperately trying to get that word into this podcast. That is quite like a classic of all types of beers and often English beers, isn't it? This kind of like oval shaped, big keyword across the middle, and then the type of beer you've got underneath. So in this case, saying premium and quality lager beer above like a central, who's this? This is our icon sort of thing. Yeah. Either side of him is established and the year, and then above that, a nod to where it's from. It's a bit classic at the same time, isn't it?
Very cool.
Very cool. Can I just throw it? Have you guys been on the Faxe beer website?
There's seldom a day I'm not on it.
It's just the Faxe beer website doesn't really relate to the can design. Am I wrong?
What? Why would you say that?
Well, there's two men in cowboy hats fishing, one in a wetsuit.
It looks more fun. Do you know? Because to be fair, like the can makes you think we're not here to muck about, mate. We're here to drink a lot of beer and maybe go to war and pillage.
Yeah,
it's just then actually the website's got a feel good vibe. Like, hey, let's have a beer. Let's not murder anyone and steal their things.
Yeah, there's just but there's no mention of a Viking.
Do you want to know a little bit of why I think that is?
God, yeah.
Being a Viking is very old-fashioned.
So, Faxe is a brand that's owned by Royal Unibrew. Have you ever heard of Royal Unibrew before?
I've never heard of Unibrew.
No.
They are, outside of Carlsberg, the largest brewery in Denmark.
Okay.
So they have, like, so many brands. Faxe being one of their massive ones, which is they are actually headquartered in Faxe, Denmark itself. So Faxe is a place.
Yeah.
That. And they have a load of brands like Ceres. You might have heard of Ceres before.
Mm.
Albani. I've not heard of that personally. There's one that's called Thor. That's a whole brand called Thor. Brilliant.
Excellent.
Carlins and Royal. So Royal Unibrew also has a strong presence in the Baltic region, where it owns Vilnius, Taurus, Kalananpils, both in Lithuania, and I'm going to butcher this name again, Lakapulisera Alus in Latvia. So basically, they're a really big outfit, actually, Royal Unibrew.
Oh. Well, it's bigger. It's bigger than I thought. I thought Faxe was just a small, because I've never heard of them before, and I'm just looking. They have quite an array of Faxe beer.
Tell me more about the Faxe beer.
Well, Faxe. So we're currently drinking Faxe Premium, which is their lager. They also have a fruit beer.
Premium lager beer as well, which I always think if someone asks for a lager beer, I just automatically go to that skit.
Oh, yeah.
Alcoholic lager beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit relieved if we are going to drink a litre of this stuff. We've got the 5% lager and not Faxe 10%.
Yeah.
I was counting my chickens with that.
Yeah.
Given that I've actually only got a mug left of my litre, I'm actually almost through.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't want to divert from the discussion of the many beers that they do, but I'm really drinking it. Yeah. It helps to be really articulate when you do a podcast.
I think you just clarified for all the listeners. We actually do drink this, so I'm really
yeah. I it's literally what I'm doing. It's nice.
It's okay.
I thought it was going to be an absolute horror show. To be honest,
I think if I'm going to drink a litre of something, this is actually quite nice.
Yeah.
That's it. When you pick up a litre can, you're not going, this is going to be top quality.
Anything in bulk tends to not be like.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I got this from, once again, a store you possibly wouldn't buy beer from.
Was it Bargain Basement or something?
It wasn't Bargain Basement. It was B&M.
B&M Bargains.
B&M Bargains. Yeah. No. So a bit of a different one. I was in there I was trying to find something to put between my washing machine and the countertop to stop it vibrating. So you'd assume, something
like a bit of like styrofoam or something.
Yeah, or you can
Big
get
sheet
these
of
pads
styrofoam that would like.
And you bought this.
fit in there, and you can put. But I was wondering, Brian. Of course, they have an alcohol section, and I saw Faxe, and I was like, haha, that could be funny.
To be fair, this liter can being in B&M bargains makes a lot of sense. Because right? Like,
how much was the liter can?
I think it was about £4.
that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Which is
Bang for your
okay
buck on that one, because it's 5% nice premium lager beer.
Yeah.
But Drabbers, you're going to tell us about all the other products that Faxe had.
Yes.
As well.
Let me just get that page back, because there's so many I can't remember them. So they've got a fruit beer called Faxe Red. They've got a bock beer called Faxe Fest Bock. They've got another lager called Faxe Amber, Faxe Strong, Faxe Extra Strong, Faxe Free. They've got a non-alcoholic, Faxe 10%, Faxe Pilsner, Faxe Fad, which I quite like the sound of. Like they've just come up with an idea.
Won't last.
Yeah, it won't last. Faxe Classic, Faxe Gold, Faxe 7.1, and Faxe Royal Export.
Now, I want to go back to something that you were talking about. You talked about their red beer.
Yes,
Do you
their
know
fruit
what
beer.
Yeah, it's their elderberry one with a hint of elderberry. But what's it called?
Okay.
What is it called?
I've only got Faxe on here. It's called Faxe Red.
It's actually called the Faxe Red Eric, which is obviously after the very famous Viking warrior.
Oh, okay.
So they are, any opportunity, adding in their little like Viking, this is a Viking Danish strong, kind of like vibe into it. So I like that. Cool.
Yeah. What I think we should point out as well is they're not all their cans aren't 1,000 milliliters that I'm looking at. Right. Some of them are 500 milliliters. So you probably can get a Faxe 4-pack somewhere, just not in the UK.
If you're feeling very strong.
Yeah. I think there's also an Instagram page for Faxe fans when you take a picture of it and post it and tag the Instagram page in it for people who find Faxe beer, which I quite like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I mean, I keep, I'm making us go back and forth between topics though, but like, you can drink this to a lead. I've poured out the last drop. You can see. And it's because it's
listeners,
not too...
we can confirm he did draw out the last
yeah.
I think, well, no, I'm a bit amazed, and I'm going through the speed that I'm going at as well. It's not actually. I think I said off air before we started. It's because it's not too fizzy, which is I kind of expected it to be with a quality lager beer. I was expecting bubbles and just for the whole thing to be repeating on me the whole time.
All a bit too much. I agree with you, Matt. I've got quite a stinking cold for any listeners who usually listen to me talking and waffling. Probably hear a lot more of a adult, like a roll right now. I've actually still really enjoyed getting through this beer. Granted, my taste buds are not as sharp as they normally are, but still to this, I've just absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this liter of Faxe.
Yeah. Like I would personally, I would buy this on tap at a pub. If they had Faxe on tap, I'd be there for it.
You can only buy a litre glass at a time, but sorry, I think I cut you off there, Joe. Were you about to say something else?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, imagine it. Or maybe you have to have like a special big pump, like
definitely.
Well,
or it's like an axe. You've got to hit an axe down or something, and then it pours out the beer.
Wasn't it the Cardinal's hat in Worcester? You used to be able to buy steins of beer there for like £5.
Yeah. I remember was one of my one of the pubs we went to on my 18th birthday bar crawl, which was a hell of a lot of fun. And I decided at that moment in my life that my ideal of like hitting the town outfit was like jeans with some like pointy black shoes and I had a white t-shirt on and a vest. So I just looked like a snooker player.
I used to straighten my hair back in the day when we used to go on nights out. And not 100%
straightened.
I had that could be straightened. Yeah. And I look back at pictures. I didn't look good. So we'll just move on.
Well, I'm still going to go on with the taste of this beer. I saw something about. I'm afraid I've completely lost it. Did it say it's an all malt lager?
Oh, tell me more. I haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah, I've lost it. I thought I read it somewhere. No, I don't know where it is. Actually, but just as a little side note, I should mention I did quite enjoy when I did my first initial Google search, because that's where, I'll be honest, that's where I often start. When I first Googled Faxe, the first thing that came up as a suggested search is Faxe any good? And I would reply to that with, yes, it is actually.
Yeah. You know what surprises me? There's only 2.5 units in this can. When I just assumed it would be more.
Hang on. No, that can't be right.
Half can, sorry. Per half can. It's 5
can.
units. Yeah.
Oh, I can see that. That is misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, it's misleading, isn't it?
Why would you say what half a can is?
Yeah. I've only had 1 can of Faxe, officer. It's fine. Yeah.
There's very, very little cholesterol in the corner of this tub of butter.
But I've also just found an article on Reddit that said, what's the worst beer you ever had? And someone's like, oh my God, it was a 1 litre can of the 10% ABV Faxe Extra Strong.
Is this not the beer that we used to have as the Trout Challenge in Maribel?
The Trout Challenge? Tell me more.
What was the one in
this.
Do you remember there was the one that you do when you went Monterey? You had to from Monterey back into Maribel. You had to drink a can of this frozen horror show. I can't remember. It wasn't Faxe, was it? It was something French.
That up. It was something horrendous that we've got to get locally. Yeah, because
Atlas. It was called Atlas.
It was Atlas. Yeah.
Oh God, that was awful. About 9%.
Yeah, and Atlas one litre. Yeah, it comes up immediately on Google.
Yeah,
not good. From the United Dutch Breweries, so. Shall we close this off on Faxe though, or you got something else?
No, I've just gone on to the Amazon reviews of Faxe beer.
Oh, go on.
What are the people saying, Rich?
What have we got? So you know what? There's no 1-star or 2-star reviews.
Oh.
There's lots of 5-star. Great beer as always. Bit pricey for badly dented tins.
That sounds like an Amazon problem, not a Faxe problem.
Yeah. Memories of the weekend, past relived. What? Superb. Yeah. Oh, the beer is terrible. After drinking 6 litres, I could barely stand up, and operating power tools was completely out of the question. Is that meant to happen?
After 6 litres. Yes. I think that's a joke review. I can't.
Yeah, I got that.
Real.
It's great. The can is cool and made me feel like a Viking drinking from it.
I actually would agree with that one. In fact, you found my review.
Yeah.
I feel pretty badass. It is amazing. Actually, I haven't actually drunk from the can apart from this last couple of sips. And actually, I wish I'd drunk from the can itself. I poured it out into a glass, but drinking from the can is something else.
Actually, it brings a whole new level to the beer now that I've just drunk it out of the can. It tastes and feels. Try it. You're just like, you feel so much cooler and better drinking it from the can.
Imagine turning up to a house party with some 1 litre Faxe. Just sit down and just crack one open.
Do you want one of these,
start drinking.
What? No.
Like, what are you drinking? And it's like, what? Like, just act like it's completely normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're weird for thinking this is weird.
Yeah.
What's with your massive can? It's not a massive can. I'm just really small.
Yeah.
I'm only having one.
Could you imagine just opening someone's fridge and it just being full of Faxe, though?
You'd have to have a special fridge. A normal fridge wouldn't hold a lot of Faxe. Like 3 Faxes in there. That's it. Filled.
I've got an image in my head of that person leaning back from behind the open door, looking at them and going, "Nice."
Yeah.
There's like a new take on that Carlsberg advert where they go all mental because it's like a beer wardrobe or walk-in wardrobe.
Oh yeah. It's a walk-in fridge, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. And I just imagine the Faxe version of it is like a frozen warehouse that you're in.
For those wondering, by the way, I mean, this was news to me. Small addendum to the episode. All malt lager, all malt beer is made entirely from mashed barley malt and does not have the addition of adjuncts, sugars, or additional fermentables. So it's just mashed barley malt.
Love it.
I'm sure
Nice.
there's quite a few out there that do that, but possibly just don't shout about it as much as Faxe do, and are obviously very proud of it. But I think it's also quite common for stronger beers, bitters, and that type of thing. Just if anyone was curious.
Yeah.
I think if you're like role playing some sort of like Viking, you're having a Viking theme party, or you're just on the sea and you want to be a Viking, look no further. Get some Faxe in your life, you know.
And some of those, is it berserker mushrooms?
Oh, God.
There's the story about berserker Vikings, and I don't know if this is true or whether this is like folk story, but there's like the phrase the berserkers.
Yeah,
there is a suggestion that these berserker Vikings who used to like the lads used to like was go into war like bare chested and just with axes, and they would just hack people to death. The suggestion was, I think some historians have said that actually they might be these lads that ate a particular strand of mushroom that made them like absolutely like fearless and obsessed and violent and that sort of stuff. So actually, maybe don't.
I was going to say,
But let's face it, if I was going into one of those kind of battles in that time period, I'd probably want to be off my face.
I actually spoke to someone who knew something or two about Vikings as well, and they suggested that those mushrooms are a thing and you can still get them, and supposedly people do try them. However, the come down off that particular type of mushroom is like, as in, apparently it's a danger. A lot of people commit suicide on the come down because it is that bad. So on that cheery note,
do you know?
why don't we stick to the beer? Everyone stick to the beer.
Yes.
The lovely 5%. It comes in a litre, which is a bit intense.
Yeah.
But don't be put off by the big volume. It's a lot of fun. And then
drink it from the can.
And drink it from the can. That is good as well.
Yeah.
Make sure it's cold, like any good lager. Make sure it's cold.
Definitely.
And Faxe on Instagram have 12.9k followers. You can find them at Faxe Beer. So do hit them up.
Yeah. Give them a look.
Give them a Viking roar.
Yeah.
Apparently the clap, the Icelandic Viking clap. That one.
Talking about the
No, also, there's another thing I was thinking about Vikings. Was it the Euros in 2012? When Iceland beat the UK and they did that clap? Apparently they stole that from Scotland. Like Dunfermline or something used to do that. So we brought it full circle back to football. Why are you laughing?
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
Barber,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.